Winter bass fishing isn't hard because the bass stop biting. It's hard because most people bring the wrong tackle. Today I'm building the only winter tackle box a beginner actually needs. Right off the get-go, you can go with something like Plano, as simple as it gets. If it's built for tackle, great. If it's not, it will work. Do not spend your hard-earned money on top-of-the-line tackle boxes that you may damage, destroy, or leave behind on the fishing bank. Terminal tackle is the beginning and the foundation to winter bass fishing. First thing with our terminal tackle, we're gonna start out with some wide gap or extra wide gap worm hooks. These are going to be for our soft plastics. Don't buy the 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, 4/0, and 5/0. Go somewhere in the middle to save your money. Go with some 3/0 or 4/0. They will be perfect for any type of worm, creature bait, or whatever you're throwing out there. Second thing with terminal tackle, we're sticking with the hooks. We're going with the offset worm hook. Don't worry about the 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, 4/0, 5/0. Go with the 3/0 or 4/0, maybe one pack of each, and that will be absolutely perfect for the offset worm hook. Next item in terminal tackle, drop shot hooks. We're gonna go with that number 1 Owner Mosquito drop shot hook. If you like Gamakatsu, buy them. You like Owner, buy them. It makes no difference in the brand as long as you got a good hook with a sharp hook point. Next, sticking with terminal tackle, we're gonna go with some small bullet weights and some small drop shot weights. We're gonna take all of our weights from basically 1/16 up to about 1/4. You can go every other size if you want to, because that 1/16 of an ounce isn't going to make that much of a difference most of the time during winter bass fishing. Once again, as far as brand goes, with the bullet weights, these are all Queen. With the drop shot weights, I got Danielson and I've got Vanguard. Don't worry about the brand, guys. Find something you like, and if it's budget friendly, even better. Sticking with terminal tackle, we got some Ned rigs here. I'm gonna go with a couple of different sizes. I can go with chartreuse, black, green pumpkin, whatever color you wanna go with. Don't go too big on the Ned rig during winter bass fishing. Go with something a little bit smaller. I like the 1/8 from Outcast. And I also like the Nedlock series, the 1/15. Staying with that terminal tackle, folks, the next one to me is that shaky head. I like the 1/8 and the 1/16 when I'm doing wintertime bass fishing. And I really like that stand-up shaky head right there from VMC. 1/16, 1/8, if you like one or the other, fantastic. At this point, that is the conclusion of all the terminal tackle that I use during wintertime bass fishing. In that cold weather, I don't worry about snap rings, swivels, split rings. When I'm out there on the bank and I'm cold, I'm trying to do absolutely the minimum that I have to catch the most bass that I can. Always realize cold temperature means cold water, slow bass, so slow down your presentation. We're gonna talk about some soft plastics that really work when you're fishing for wintertime bass bites. If the fish are slow during the wintertime, we need to slow our presentation. The first thing I come out with is the straight tail worm. 4" to 6" is perfectly fine. They're slow, they're subtle, and they match the bass's mood during that wintertime bass fishing. When I'm wintertime bass fishing, I really love the color green pumpkin because the bass like it a whole lot. In this situation, I have the People's worm for that robo worm, and I also have Junebug and chartreuse. Grab a couple of different colors that you think will work. Grab a couple of different packs. I got one pack of each in this box that I'm making. The next one is a craw. Why? It has a magnificent fall rate, especially when you're using it weightless. If you have to use a weight, use the smallest weight humanly possible. I really like the Rage Craw. Find a brand of craw that you like, put 1 or 2 of these inside of your winter bass tackle box, and thank me later. You cannot build any type of winter bass fishing tackle box without some sort of soft plastic stick bait. I like to go with a 3 or a 4" and maybe up to a 5 or a 6", but I don't bring too many and I don't bring too many colors. I like to go with something like a watermelon seed, something like a green pumpkin, or something like that cool little camo right there, that little swirl, work really, really good. Buy the cheaper brand. These right here are Zoom. They're a little expensive at times. These little yum dingers, Much cheaper, and they really get the job done on that winter bass bite. Wintertime bass fishing is not complete without some sort of a creature bait. I really like the Helgamite, especially now that they have a weighted version. I don't have to use any weight, and when those bass are out there slow and lethargic, I can really match their mood during the wintertime. This Helgamite really shines. On a close second, when I'm fishing with that shaky head, the ultimate bait that I like is the hog walla. It's a really good bite. It's slow, it's methodical. Big girls really like that hog walla during the wintertime. Hog walla, Helgamite, those are my two choices for a creature bait during wintertime bass fishing. Find a creature bait that you like, run it slow, run it weightless if you can, and see what happens. If you're out there fishing for bass during the winter and you do not have some sort of a TRD from Z-Man, you're really not even fishing. These colors right here, what do I have? A Slam Shady and a Green Pumpkin Delta Green Pumpkin. Get something a little bit lighter, something a little bit darker, depending on those days where you have bluebird skies or you have really good overcast, maybe a little rain, wind, a little chop on the water. Put one of these beautiful Z-Band TRD baits on your Green Pumpkin, black or chartreuse Ned heads. The small bass and the big bass really like this. So the days that you think you're gonna get skunked, at least you'll probably get bit. All right, moving on to a couple of hard baits out there. I love to throw a jig during wintertime bass fishing. I like to use a little bit of a black and blue, a green pumpkin, or a white. If you can only fit one or two into your budget, that's perfectly fine. You don't need a bunch of them. You don't need every color out there in the rainbow. Get yourself a darker one, get yourself a lighter one, put them in your tackle box. Go with something a little more finesse and a little more compact during wintertime bass fishing and get out there and have some fun with the jig. Next, something that works really good when you're running it slow inside the water column, especially during wintertime bass fishing when you got a little bit of that chop on the water, is some sort of a vibrating jig. Some will call this the chatterbait. Get something like in the bluegill color, maybe a little white and chartreuse for those days where they really need to target something where that water's chopped up and a little bit more stained, and use something you've already got that we've talked about as a trailer. Straight tail worm, a craw, a creature bait, something like that. These will get bit. Drag it through, rip it through grass, allow that blade to cut through that grass, and these will oftentimes trigger some of the biggest bass bites if you're slow and methodical during wintertime bass fishing. The last bait, as far as my hard baits go on my wintertime bass fishing list, are some sort of a small crankbait. This time of year, wintertime bass fishing, go with something like a craw pattern. Go with something like a bait fish pattern. These two patterns, and keep them small to medium in size. Some have rattles, some do not have rattles. If the bass like the rattles, throw the rattles. If they like them silent, throw the silent. It doesn't matter what you and I like, it matters what the bass prefer. So don't be stubborn out there on the fishing bank. Folks, wintertime bass fishing is an awesome opportunity. A lot of times everybody's out there hunting, they're at home staying warm by the fire. They don't want to be out there standing on a fishing bank because they think they're going to freeze to death. When you're down here like we are in the south, yes, it's going to be a little bit cold. Those temperatures are going to warm up, and guess what? Those bass are going to become more active, and these baits are really going to help you during that time where you're chasing that wintertime bass bite. If you learned anything in this video, or if you're 1% smarter, please hit that like button, subscribe if you will, and I'll see you sometime in the very near future.